Good afternoon. I'm back out in the garden looking around. My apologies for the lack of videos or just communication again. My back is fine. I haven't been in I have been in the hospital. I've been in and out just getting testing. Just been through a lot of testing over the past couple of weeks. My back seems to be doing really good. I think that's behind me. Just dealing with other stuff. Beautiful. Everybody looks really good. Just out here kind of getting a game plan. Looking at some of the growth. Really love those big roots coming out. It's a great sign. Some new spikes. I'm moving everybody too quick, I'm sure. Some blooms are dying back and others are starting. We're starting to get a little bit warm outside. We're starting to get springtime. New roots coming out down here. I'm really happy to see that. This one's been blooming. It's finally started reabsorbing its spike, and that one's been blooming for, geez, almost non-stop since May of last year, maybe. It's been a while. That one's blooming, new spike, and the old spike is branching back off. Love to see that. Just lots of growth, roots. This is one of the bag babies that I had that got a couple of weeks ago. I didn't show repotting this. It all kind of just happened real fast, as it sometimes does. I knocked it off the shelf, it hit the floor, and that's how it got repotted real quick. It has pretty good roots. The rhizome itself is really buried. This is Cattleya Mamoto Volcano Queen. But it does have a new cane coming up, or bulb, and some pretty good root growth showing. It's only been in there for a day or two. I made a clip, anchored it on the clip, the wire clip, and then poured some loose, washed off lava rock around it. The clip does the anchoring, so you don't have to put the gravel in very tight. It's nice and tight, and it just kind of locks together. The plants, once they realize I think they're anchored, I think that helps to trigger things too, helps trigger growth. But they take off real fast usually, but once they're in it. These two bigger pots back here, these 6-inch pots with that is Cattleya Mott Spot, and I got those about 8 months ago. Bag babies. They're aggressive growers. They grow a lot. There's another new cane coming out there. I noticed this one has a new cane coming down there again. They started canes growing on 1st of December, and those got mature and spiked and finally bloomed. Really pretty bloom, I think. It's more pink than purple, like it shows in the video, but and it says it's fragrant on the tag, which I never believe that. I'm just happy if it looks something like the picture, but in this case, it's actually fragrant. When I turn the fans off and the air is a little bit more still in here, I can smell it. It starts to get a little bit stronger. It's not floral. It's more perfume-like. Really, kind of surprised me. Wasn't what I was expecting. Kind of reminded me of the Avon lady from 55 years ago, but nobody probably knows what that is or who I'm talking about. So I'll just say it's a pretty flower and has a beautiful scent. But really nice first bloomer, and I'm happy to see that one. This is that other bag baby, the Dendrobium speciosum, and I uncovered a bunch of it too because it was just really buried deep down in there. It does have a couple of new growths that are coming on. This is a dwarf variety. This one is pedunculatum, and I found a couple of good articles on it that talked about the purpling underneath the leaves is genetic, so I don't have to worry about magnesium deficiency or phosphorus or potassium or anything. And it is a dwarf variety, so that's about as big as it gets, 3 to 6 inches. Some of these varieties of dendrobiums, from what I read, can get really large, like bigger than baseball bats and fill up a pickup truck kind of size. But fortunately, this one won't be quite that large. I'm glad it's a miniature. I'll take that just like that. I'm going to put it back in rock. It is a rock orchid. That's what they call it, the Australian rock orchid sometimes, or Sydney rock orchid. I've seen several different names of it, but it's in the right garden. I'm going to put it back into gravel or into rock, but I just don't know exactly what yet. I want to do a little more cultural research on it first, and then I think I may try something different with this. So anyway, sit tight. We'll see what happens. Really beautiful roots coming out back there on that one. Nice canes. Everybody's doing well. New cane on the Dendrobium, and I noticed it's cracked down to below and splitting again, and I'm sending up another cane, and that, I'm not sure if that's a spike or what that is. I think it is. Warm weather. We're only a couple of weeks away from getting all the plants outside. The shade house is cleaned out. It's sitting there just ready to go. I'm just waiting for the nights to warm up a little bit better. Big cane coming off that Dendrobium. I've got growth on just about everything. Big growth on that Sherry baby. It still has a big, beautiful spike still. Even the mounts up here are new canes. New little canes coming out. Little canes coming out. This is a new growth here. There's a new growth coming out up there. I mean, look at this. I never get tired of the roots. Never get tired of the roots. And the growth. Look at the size of those roots. I love that. Isn't that beautiful? They go all the way up that mount. All the way up off the top and all the way to the green tip right there. Anyway, I'm going to head over to Trader Joe's here shortly. I've got some errands to run. I'm going to get out for the first time here in a while. Big, beautiful growth on that obsidian too. Lots of calcium. Lots of calcium. Anyway, I'm going to head over to Trader Joe's later on this afternoon. I haven't been there in a long time. Now I'm going to see what I can find. I don't really need any more orchids, but I don't know. I'm just going to go get a fix. That's the only thing I can tell you. Just something tells me I just need to go over there and look around. Who knows what I'll find. Love that. This is that Encyclia Tampensis, Encyclia Summer Stars. Made itself at home on that piece of wood. Lots of new growths. I'm not sure. This is a new growth right here, this little one. You see that coming up with the two leaves? That's how they normally come out, that I've seen them growing, but I don't know what's going on here. I don't know if that's a new growth and it just hasn't branched out yet, or if that's a flower spike. I don't know. I've never had it bloom before, so I don't know. Seems to be doing well though. I've got a couple of mounts outside I'm going to go cut up here in just a second. I was happy to see that too. It looks like it's splitting at the base. That cane is too, putting out a new growth. Love the roots. Whew. That is a happy plant. That was a rescue Dendrobium. And it grew that beautiful cane and put out this small little cluster, but I'll take it. Beautiful. It's got another cane coming out real strong, so I'm not going to complain. I love to see the active growth. Lots of colors popping out on the bromeliads. I've noticed a bunch. Something's happening with the bromeliads because they're all of a sudden coloring up, and it's got to have something to do with the light conditions. I added a few more minutes to the timer as I do every week, but I think this one we're finally getting up close to where it's really triggering them. Some holy pots. Anyway, let me take you out in the shop and show you what I got going on. Hang on just a second. Don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. Just sit tight. Sit tight. Sit tight. Hang on just a second. All right. Sorry about that. It's just easier this way. It's just easier this way. Anyway, I'm out here in the shop. at my workbench. My dear friend, Mr. Jackson, came by earlier and brought me a couple of pieces of beautiful old pieces of fence posts. It's old cedar. It's got a ton of wormholes in it. It's been soaked for a few days. It's been cleaned off. It's scrubbed. It's actually really, really hard stuff. All these are. They're really hard to drill. They're hard to cut. I mean, they are really, really hard. I've hit them with a wire brush on a grinder, on a grinder wheel. And I mean, it'll take steel off. It takes paint off steel. So if there was any soft left on this, it's gone. So everything that's left is really, really hard, nice and dense. The great thing about these is they're wide, but still kind of flat. So they'll hang real nice. That one's about 20 inches long, maybe 18 inches long. This one's about, I don't know, 13 or 14 inches long. This one I've already put holes in. I put 2 holes in there. You'll notice they're offset, and this is just how I do it. If I drilled 2 of them in a row, they have more of a tendency to split the wood. If I offset them like this, they don't split the wood as easy. See what I mean? Hope that makes sense. Hang on just a second. All right. I still need to drill that one out. These are just a bunch of other pieces. Here's another piece of that he brought me. It looks like it's heart cedar, the sapwood from a cedar tree. Beautiful piece again. Just beautiful color, beautiful piece. It looks really, really rotten and everything, but it's actually really, really hard. These pieces are, drilling through them and cutting them was a chore. But again, offset holes. And again, that's just how I do it. But I like the wire so it's nice and tight, so it doesn't wiggle around. That way when my mount's up there, I don't have to worry about that joint wiggling around. It holds them nice and solid. And that's just me. A couple of others, you may have already seen these. We just need more plants for them is all. Anyway, I'm just checking to make sure I'm still in focus here. I want this to be the top of it, right here. When you're drilling, let me give you a tip here real quick. This is this is a drill bit for metal. This is one for wood, and this is actually called a brad point. Let me double check my lens here so I make sure I'm staying in focus. But this is a brad point. You notice the tip on that? When you put this down on that wood, that's where it's going to drill. It doesn't move around or wallow or wander around, trying to get a hole started if it's really, really hard surface, Even on a hard surface, it'll grab it and just go right in. Using a metal bit to drill wood will cause issues. The friction in the wood can cause the wood to swell, and it'll grab hold of that bit. And as you can see, as you've seen on other videos, it can be tough to deal with. These wood bits have a different flute design. All right, they're made to extricate wood shavings a little bit easier. They don't overheat as much, and that wood, the way it's built, it's just an entirely different type of bit. A set of these you can get it like here in the U.S. Harbor Freight or Home Depot or something like that for probably under $10 or $12, something like that. And they come in all different sizes, but they work really, really well for drilling wood, especially hardwood, especially if you're drilling in hard wood. All right. Anyway, let me get this one drilled out. There's my first hole. I'm going to pick a direction to offset it. I'm going to go in just a little bit, let it go down, then back it out. So that way I'm cleaning the shavings out. Cleaning the shavings out as I go up and down with the drill bit. If you don't do that, the shavings can bind in the hole and cause the bit to loosen up in the chuck, and then you've got other problems. All right, I want those holes to be fairly snug. Let me get my wire. Sorry for reaching here, everybody. This is 16 gauge wire. I get it in a roll like this. This one's almost gone, but it comes in a roll like this. It's sold in the ceiling grid department, where the ceiling grid for acoustical ceilings at Lowe's or Home Depot. That's where I get this at. It's 16 gauge. It's pretty stiff wire, but it's about 1/8 of an inch thick. But if you'll notice, you can bend it real easy. See, I can bend it. I can bend it real easy. It doesn't take a lot. It's just hard to hold on to because it's so small diameter. But if you have a wire that's really hard to bend, you probably got the wrong wire. This is strong, has a very, very strong tensile strength, pull strength, so it won't snap if you're trying to pull it apart, or because it has to hold up the ceiling. It's more than enough to hold for a wood mount, but at the same time, it's not real difficult to work with, and that's what you don't want. And this is how I do it. I'll take the first wire, and this is just to check it. I'll let it stick out the back, and I want it to stick out the back far enough so that I can push it down and have some leverage. If it's only sticking out a little bit like that, I can't really push that over very easily. So let it stick out a couple inches so you can push down on it, bend it over with your finger or with a pair of pliers. And at the same time, I'm taking my thumb on the inside and marking the depth of it, so I know where my thumb is where I want to be. So I'm transferring that. I'm going to bend that. Put a rough 90 in it. Hang on just a second. Let me readjust a couple things here real quick. There we go. Not a lot going on. The plants are growing. Everybody looks real good, like y'all saw in there. And so I'm just giving you some shop time. I'll flip this lens around so I can see what I'm doing. All right, so now I'm going to match it up with the holes. Put my finger right where the other hole is. Got it with my pliers. And bend it over. I end up with something that looks like this. Okay. Now, I want this to go through from the front. So I push this through. Now you've done a pretty good job. It should go in there nice and tight like that. Usually I'll have to tap it just a tiny little bit to get it started. Stick it out the back, you can see what I've got. But now since that piece has got some length to it, I can tap it down real good. And then the top piece can be pushed up. Adjust it to where I need it. Let me hold you back up here again. Just like that. I'm going to put a loop on it. Trim off the excess. And there you have it. It looks like it's rotted, but this is really hard wood. It's just got lots of character. It's got lots of holes. Should be lots of places for roots to get a hand on or a hold on. On the back, it's still got some texture on the back as well, but really nice piece. So now all I need is just I need some orchids to put on these pretty pieces of wood. I really like these. These are going to be really, really nice mounts. Anyway, that's all there is to it. I think I've shown this before, but I get asked about it a lot, so just another quick review on how I hang those mounts and how I do it. Thanks for watching. Have a wonderful afternoon, and get out there and work in your garden. Give a mount a try. These are not more work. I hear a lot of people say that, but they're not more work. The plants love it, and when the plant loves it, it's definitely not more work. Well worth it. Have a great day.